Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday Friends. I am Deb Burton, the founder and creator of RI Elder Info, the most comprehensive resource for seniors, caregivers, and professionals in Rhode Island. And every Friday, I come out here and I join you and share with you information and resources from other local nonprofits that are doing some really cool stuff that you really need to know about. Of course, it's really important that we get the word out. So if you hit the like button and the share button, I'm sure there's going to be people that you know who need the information that we're talking about today. We're going to have a very special guest. And then when I'm done speaking with our guest, I'm going to talk to you also about the vaccine rollout. You know, the $1 million question for the COVID vaccine. But what we do is not possible without the support of our sponsors. So super grateful to Oak Street Health. Wonderful program out there, comprehensive medical services for individuals who are older and on Medicare. They include even providing transportation to their offices, and they will be getting the vaccine available for their patients in the next couple of weeks. You can give my friend Tanya a call over there, and she'll be happy to help you get that service coordinated. Also, Tamarisk Assisted Living Facility, great place over in Warwick, includes that feeling of home. They also provide memory care services. So if you have a loved one who is suffering from dementia, they provide wonderful services over at Tamarisk Assisted Living Facilities. Couldn't do this without what's happening in the background behind the scenes. D&B Media, Ben Barber is our producer, as well as England Studio. You wouldn't know that this was taking place if it wasn't for England Studio sharing this information out. So we are a 501c3. We are always dependent on our sponsors and our donors. If you like what we're doing and you would like to support us, feel free to reach out to me. It's Deb at RI Elder Info, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about that. So today's guest is MJ Kaplan from A Community Together. She's going to share with us some of the wonderful things that are happening in the South County area. Welcome, MJ.
Actually, it's MJ Henderson.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. And I am assuming you can see my screen. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about A Community Together. And we live in a beautiful area here in South County, and we are providing services for older adults to keep them in their homes for as long as possible. And I will show you my slides, if I may. And I'm assuming you can see this, yes?
Yes, I can.
Okay. And so here's our name, A Community Together, and we coordinate aging in place services for adults in the South Kingston area. And we are a 501c3, but this is how you reach us. A Community Together at helpfulvillage.com by our website, and then we have a Gmail, actneighbors@gmail.com. And
so that's A Helpful Village?
Yeah,
A Community Together.helpfulvillage.com.
Right.
Okay.
Helpful Village is our administration company that beams us out there on the internet, and that's how you reach us. And as we said before, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we are a membership-driven and membership-funded organization with some grant money for startup that we received. And people can join, and we encourage everybody who is eligible to join. That's anybody who feels like they're old or needing some help to stay in their homes for as long as possible. You don't have to be 65 or older. You can be in the 50s, but need some help. So we're saving older adults in Narragansett and South Kingstown. And
That's
let's go ahead.
I was going to say that's an area that we know definitely needs more help. It's an underserved area from a community resource standpoint as far as state services. So the fact that, just say again the areas that you're covering.
We cover South Kingstown and Narragansett. So we don't go down to Charlestown and down all the way down to Westerly, and we don't do North Kingstown. We're just in the South Kingstown, Narragansett area. We are a few but mighty, but we can only serve a smaller area. So that's why we limited it to that area. There is another village in Rhode Island, which is up in Providence, and that's another village. We are one of many villages in the country. And we basically, the most volunteer activity that we've done to date is driving people places. And nationally, this seems to be a need for older adults who are happily living in their homes, but maybe they can't drive anymore and they just need help to get places. But there's no reason they can't live in their own home. So we go in and drive them to their PT appointments, physical therapy appointments, to their doctor's appointments, the dentist. We could take people shopping, etc.
Yep.
We can also help with technology. If you have a computer, some of our members have technology skills. We can help you find local people to fix your computers or cell phones or things like that in your home. On snow days that we've had, we have snow buddies. We can check on you to see if you need your walk shoveled or your garbage taken to the for the snow days. We can also take you for walks. We have a beautiful trail to walk on, and we can certainly take you for walks to see the beautiful nature outside in case you don't feel strong to walk by yourself for a distance. We also have activities, and when we used to be face to face, we would have events at different venues around the area and invite the public to come. It's not just for our members, but anybody that might be interested in our topics. And if you'd like to go down to the water on Wednesday nights to watch URI team, we can walk down there in the afternoon to the Marina Park. And there's lots of benches to sit on to watch what's going on in the ocean or the bay or the pond. And these are reasons to join our membership. It's because you love to help older adults. It also enhances our community. If everybody's happy, healthy, taking care of older people, then it's good for the younger people too. So we're trying to get intergenerational community involvement to help older adults live in their nice homes that we have here for as long as possible. Socialization is very important for older adults, and if people can be socializing and having a good time together, that's always very healthy. And it's lots of fun to get together. And here's one of the main reasons that we like to show people how we can be helpful. Basically, if you have to hire people to do a lot of work, it may cost you about $2,000 or more a year to have all these various things that I think you can see on the screen. Our annual membership cost, if you need services, is $300 a year, as you see here. And if you had to hire people to, say, move your trash barrels for $10 a week, that could add up to $520 a year. Handyman services can add up to about $160 or more. Technology assistance, we said $50 an hour, but I think most technology assistance starts at $75 an hour. So that can add up quickly for computer assistance. Medical appointment trips, if you hired a taxi to drive you over to South County Hospital or whatever, that could cost you $20 a trip or more. And that adds up to about $120 a year or more. Pet care, if you're having trouble walking the dog or getting your dog food up the steps into the house because it's heavy, we can help you with that. Local transportation, all kinds of costs for that. So as you see, it could cost you about $2,000 a year on your own, and for $300 you can have the same. So we think that's a pretty good deal for older adults. And our slogan is, you may not need us now, but we'll be there when you do. So that's that's us. And there's our information again, a communitytogether.helpfulvillage.com and acttheneighbors@gmail.com is how you can reach. That's the end of my little slideshow.
That's wonderful, though. You know, COVID has changed so much for so many in such a short period of time. You know, just the fact that you guys offer technology assistance, so much went online. We went online. We had an online presence to begin with, but we launched our Friday Friends and things like that. So for your tech support team, for your volunteers who are providing tech support, are they able to help people get registered to get the COVID vaccine? with the cities and towns, so that way when the vaccine becomes available, the folks are already registered and the city or town can reach them?
Well, basically, we're just like everybody else, watching the news and the information that comes out. And several older adults that I know in our area have just simply called the town hall, or they called the senior center. And if they're over 75, they're reassured that their name is already on the list because of voter registration files or whatever, they're on the list for the town. So we're just waiting patiently. So if if people call us and ask, that's what we say, just call the senior center. And they've been wonderful. They've been very helpful for people. So we're all
Thank
in a waiting.
goodness.
For people over 75, we're patiently waiting. But people who are between 65 and 75, we're going to have to wait longer. So
Yes, and patience is the operative word there. Yeah.
Patience in all sense of the word, patience.
Yes, yes. And, lately too, one of the big things that has been needed, particularly in the last couple of weeks and the next coming weeks or so, is snow shoveling. So do you have folks who have shovels, snow blowers, plow trucks? How does that work, and how do people get connected for that?
Well, we're very low tech in equipment. We have shovels will travel. um, we
It never needs a tune-up.
Exactly. Yeah, we're happy to help people if they need just like their walk shovel so they can get out of the house. So far, I live in Wakefield, and we have a very wonderful town. And my street, certainly, we all help each other, whether we belong to a community together or not. Everybody's out. One man has a snow blower. He goes up and down the street to help. We have one man at the bottom of the street and one at the top have snow blowers. So basically, we're trying to get people to know their neighbors and to not be afraid to ask for help. So if we have a member who needs something, they just need to call us or put in a request on our computer site, and then I send somebody out. We have a few volunteers, but we're very low tech. We did some leaf raking one time for a couple of lovely ladies up at a very large yard with many, many oak leaves. And we realized that we're not a lawn company. And the four of us that were raking took about, I don't know, 4 or 5 days to rake it all up. So we learned we should assess the property first before we go out literally with our rakes and our little tarps and a borrowed truck.
Yeah.
And many days to the dump. So that was a steep learning curve for us. So when we say we do light gardening, we mean light gardening, or we can rake a few leaves, but we're not a lawn service. So there are many villages across the country, and a lot of people are more of a referral services. So if you need a landscaping company, we're happy to tell you some of the ones in the area, especially if you're new to the area. But we're not a landscaping company.
So. I get it. Well, that was expense. Education isn't cheap sometimes, and sometimes the price you pay is your time and your energy. But now you have that education, and next time when someone needs a lot of leaves raked, you say, no, not me. That's great. So you also provide transportation to doctor's visits and that kind of thing. And I know that in that area, that can be really challenging sometimes to get rides. It's not like there's a bus stop on every corner, kind of situation. Are your volunteers able to provide some minimal assistance? And when I say minimal, I mean like hold somebody's hand as they walk down their front steps, or do you require them to be able to get fully out of their house and get to the volunteer's vehicle?
Once again, steep learning curve, learning things the hard way. Our kind of credo is that we have old people taking care of old people. So if you have to lean on me, and I'm an old person, don't count on me. So we like people to have, if they have a walker, they have a wheelchair, if they can get it to the car and they can get themselves out of their contraption and into the car and put their contraption into the car, that's fine. But if we have old people taking care of old people, lifting heavy wheelchairs is not something we can do. I have done it in the past, and then I realized, what am I doing? I've broken my own rules. I'm not supposed to do this. But some people, become frail or an age in place, and then you've known them, so you start doing things for them, and you think, well, no, I can't do this anymore because I'm a younger old person, but some of my other volunteers cannot do what I'm doing, so I shouldn't make promises, things that I can do, but they cannot. So our rule is, it's old people taking care of old people. We're all getting frailer, but we're willing to help. But you need to get from your house to the car on your own and back again. And so once again, we learned that the hard way.
Otherwise, you both might end up falling down the stairs.
Yes.
Oh, but you do grocery pickup.
Yeah, because we can't pick you back up, so we're going to have to call 911. So
yes,
but light walkers are fine because usually you can get those in the car easily.
Yep.
And we've also learned that sports cars are not good for picking up people. And Jeeps that are very high or high SUVs, they're not good either. So our volunteers have to check what kind of car they have so that you can get people in and out safely.
Yes. So they don't necessarily, the volunteers don't use their own vehicle. They'll use the client's vehicle.
No, that we use our own vehicles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if we have an SUV that's very high or a Jeep, or one woman had a sporty car, the lady with the walker wasn't going to be able to negotiate to sit in the bucket seats. So that was a problem. So she had to use her husband's car.
Yeah. Getting out of those little, Mazda Miatas and or hopping up into those Jeeps with the souped up wheels so you can go mudding.
No, not so much.
And I wanted to highlight something that you said that is true regardless of the situation that caused it. You said, if someone falls, you have to call 911. That is actually something that's really important for everybody watching. So often when an individual falls, like your first instinct, it doesn't matter what your age is to pop back up and say, I'm fine. But the reality is, it is actually really easy to not be fine. And the adrenaline rush is so high that you're not necessarily registering that you really have been injured. And there could be some broken parts there. So if you fall, if your loved one falls, your spouse, your parents, don't pick them up. Call 911 and get the EMTs. Doesn't mean they have to be transported, but let the EMTs do it. The other part of that is if somebody's down on the ground and you're like leaning over to help them up, you're more likely to pull your back, your shoulders, that kind of thing. You're more likely to get hurt. So that, I just wanted to touch on that because that's really something that is so important to make sure that, people actually call for help and let the professionals come get you. Is it embarrassing? Does your pride get hurt? Yes. But it beats the consequences.
Indeed.
So that's cool. Now, you guys are also able to do grocery shopping for people and pick up medication.
Yes. If people call us, we're happy to do those things, but people don't always call. And we're trying to help families out because if the families are burdened, then you get angry and then you get punitive and nasty. A little break to families. So even though they have everything covered, it's nice not to have to go to the grocery store or not have to come over to take out for a walk. This gives the family a break. So we can go in with our volunteers and we don't have to do shopping every week, but every once in a while, it's nice. We have one lady, she just needs a break from her husband who has dementia. So we will take him to an appointment that she could have taken him to maybe, but she just needed a break.
And that is so important.
Yeah, or take them to an activity like the senior center. Then the family has a break because it's exhausting taking care of people with dementia, early, late, middle dementia. It's exhausting because it's 24/7. So we can provide a little bit of time out for family members and then hopefully cut down on any potential abuse that can happen because of the consistency of the noise of dementia is always with you. So
amen to that. It's that right there is an invaluable service. That's so important. So MJ, if people wanted to help, are you guys a 501c3?
Yes, we are.
nonprofit?
Yes, we are. And we're
Okay.
membership driven. So if you want to be a volunteer for us, we ask that you become a member, because if you're a member, your heart and mind is into helping your other members. And so it's a kind of a neighborhood thing. You live in the area, you enjoy living here, you want to have help others who are enjoying the area, but maybe getting older, more frail, and just needing a little hand up. So we're certainly happy to have you become a member. If you just want to volunteer for us, the membership for that is just $100 a year. And that's to help defray the cost for the background checks, because we do background checks on all our volunteers. We use a national organization that checks volunteers, and we feel it's safe that way. People are assured, people who come into their homes are not only neighbors and maybe friends, but they're also screened every year. So that's $100 for a associate membership. And if you're a member who needs services, that's the $300 a year that I was talking about. And if you're a household member of two people living in the same house that may need services, that would be $400 a year. So we think that's a pretty good deal. It's less than $1 a day, and it's a great way to help other people. It's a great way to stay in your own home for as long as possible with built-in and paid services.
That's awesome. That really is a valuable service, and I really hope that our viewers are able to join your program and to volunteer for your program, because I think, like you said, we are all in this. We got to get to know our neighbors. We have to help support each other. We have to really come together. And I like that your whole organization, is a community together. I think that's really important. So I'm glad that you were able to join today, and hopefully people will reach out, and
Great.
your organization will grow. And in the meantime, I hope everyone stays healthy and has a wonderful day. Yes. Yes. Which I'm going to talk a little bit about that after we're finished. But yeah, that's going to be super important too. Really looking forward to the day when everybody gets their vaccine. But MJ, thank you so much for coming on. And it's MJ Henderson. Sorry, I messed that up in the beginning.
That's okay. Thank you very much for having us. Great to be here.
Yes, thank you. So everybody, thank you for joining me today. A word about the COVID vaccine. This week, I worked really hard to get all 39 cities and towns information up on RI Elder Info. So that there is the website right there that you can click on and get that information. Now, it's really, really important that you read what your city and town is telling you. The reason I say that, every city and town is doing their registration for COVID vaccines differently. Okay, so for some cities and towns, they may ask you to be registered already for something called the Special Needs Emergency Registry. If you're not sure what that is, there is a blog post on RI Elder Info. I interviewed the head of the Special Needs Registry a couple months back, so you can learn all about that. If some other cities and towns are using what's called a code red system, which is city and town specific. So if you've already been registered for code red, then you're already in the list. Still, other cities and towns are having you call town hall or call the senior center. Again, every community is a little bit different. So it's really important that you know what is happening in your community. But some other things that you want to be aware of. This is not getting your appointment for a vaccine. This is getting you on the list to be called when a vaccine becomes available. And it's really important that you remain patient. What they are doing is working with individuals who are over the age of 75 to get those vaccines. And you might be over 75 and say, I am eligible. And indeed, you would be eligible. But there may be people who are 100 or 90 or 80 or their higher 70s who are ahead of you in the list. So you have to be patient. Make sure that you have your name on the list to be notified when the vaccines become available. And when, they Many cities and towns are offering phone numbers for you to be able to call in to get the help, to get registered. You don't have to be tech savvy. Although if you're watching me on Facebook, you can go online. I know that because you can see me now. In which case, reach out to your neighbor who maybe isn't tech savvy and use your powers of internet capabilities for good and help them get registered. Some additional thoughts that are super important. We're not getting enough vaccine right now to serve everybody, but more is coming. So understand, if you get a call from somebody who is saying, oh, I can get you an appointment, it's only going to cost you $9.95. I can get you in to get a vaccine, and if you want, I'll drive you and we can both get vaccines. No. Right now in Rhode Island, you sign up for your vaccine. That doesn't mean that your friend who is, 45 can drive you and also get a vaccine. You can't have your friends who don't have an appointment for the vaccine show up and hope that there'll be an extra vaccine. There's not going to be an extra vaccine. Every vaccine is accounted for when they're doing the scheduling of the appointments when the vaccine doses arrive in your city or town, okay? So don't think, oh, I'm just going to hang out there and hope. Don't. It makes the process so much harder. It also increases your risk for COVID, okay? So you don't want to be out there in the community if you don't have to be. Super important. I know in Massachusetts, they are allowing any caregivers who come with their older adults to also get the vaccine. That is not happening in Rhode Island. And something to be aware of. When you get the appointment, sorry, it doesn't have to be through a doctor. When you get your appointment for your vaccine, of course you need transportation there. There are going to be scam artists who are going to say that they are more than willing to drive you there, okay? And you'll know that they're scam artists because they're not going to be with an organization such as MJ's. They're not going to be with one of the other village model community organizations. These might be people who are reaching out to you on Facebook. They might be reaching out on Craigslist saying, oh yes, I'll drive you because I'm a fabulous person. What you don't necessarily think of is when you're telling a total stranger to take you to your appointment to get your vaccine, you're also telling that stranger and their friends when you're not going to be in your house, okay? You're also letting them know that you are an individual who maybe could be a little more vulnerable to predators. So please don't listen when people are calling. The vaccines are free. You don't have to pay. So anybody asking you for money is going to be a scam artist, okay? If you are trying to register for a vaccine and you're not over 75, you're not going to be able to get your vaccine right now. You will in the future, just not right now, okay? There's reliable transportation available out there. MTM transportation is available through the state. They provide elderly transportation. They also provide individuals who are on Medicaid transportation to their doctor's appointments. The services are free. They are transporting to the vaccine sites. If you're not sure how to get in contact with MTM, that's on RI Elder Info on the transportation page. You can connect with MTM. So it's really important that as a community, as people who are all in this fight against COVID together, that we're honest about when we're registering, that we really are residents of that city or town. We really are over the age of 75. And that if by some chance, and I totally get it, you register at CVS to be notified when there's a vaccine available, and you register at Walgreens to be notified when there's a vaccine available, and you register with your city and town, that once you get your vaccine, that you let those other places know that you can be taken off the list, because there's lots of people who need those vaccines. So I've just thrown a ton of information at you in a very short period of time, but really important, watch out for scam artists. The vaccines are free. We are going to get more, but right now we're not getting enough to do everybody all at once. So you have to be patient. You have to be honest when you sign up. And there are resources that can help you along the way, but there are scam artists too. So your first step to find out about vaccines is to actually reach out to your city or town. And again, RI Elder Info has put all that stuff together, okay? There will be mass vaccine sites coming, and there will be statewide coordination, but we're not there, not as of 9:30 on February 12th. We're not there yet, but it's coming, and I'll be more than happy to keep you posted when that takes place. So in the meantime, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you have hit the like button and the share button. So much great information in an underserved area that MJ gave us today for a community together. This information about the vaccine, really important that you share this stuff out there because we are all in this together. In the meantime, until I see you next week, make sure that you wash your hands, wear a mask, and stay at least 6 feet away from people. Thank you, everybody, for joining me.
If you liked this video, please follow us on social media and subscribe on YouTube. For more information, visit rielderinfo.com or call 401-585-0509. If you have any questions, email deb@rielderinfo.com.